I heard some audio, and I'm going, there's no way they're surprised. And I got to tell you, like they were beating the drum to fire Kevin Stefansky from last 2 years ago on, basically. And let me say this before we play this audio. I'm not going to say like, oh, I told you so, because I think you guys aren't surprised by all this. And we knew going into this that it probably wasn't going to be great, but there had to be a split. Like Kevin needed to go. I thought he wanted to go, and that we were going to all move on. And so I heard some audio yesterday that kind of threw me off. Go ahead and play this right now.
With Nate Scheelhaus being a Monday interview, you have to find another Rooney Rule candidate.
Right.
And that Jonathan Jones tweeted out today of CBS Sports, oh, yeah, this could delay the being able to name a head coach.
For sure it could.
That's just, it's already a wonky search. And with the way it's gone, it feels even wonkier. And maybe that's how a guy like Grant Udinski rises from. Maybe this was a year where you had a Vrabel and a Ben Johnson and a this, that, and the other. But I mean, don't we kind of have it now? We had Harbaugh. I think McDermott becomes somebody of interest to a lot of teams.
Yeah, should be an interest for us.
So we're just in a really weird space where I'm trying not to overreact because I don't think it's appropriate yet. But I can't tell you I'm not concerned about where this thing's going.
Well, with McDaniel out, I don't know that there's a head coach outside of McDermott now that they could name that would leave you satisfied. And really, to some degrray, myself included in that as well.
We're settling from here.
Weren't you going to be not satisfied regardless?
Unless you got Harbaugh, right?
I want to make, because I think we have the same listeners. Maybe their listeners are different, and I'm talking a different language if they play this in the afternoon. I'm not trying to belittle them. I'm not trying to go after them. Nick is saying, well, I'm trying to keep myself calm about this and not overreact. And then he says he's concerned, and I'm going, I'm not concerned. I felt it was going to go this way, and it's going this way. I'm not surprised by anything that's gone on over the last 17 days. Not at all. The only thing I've been surprised about are other teams and the moves they made. I've not been surprised by any of this because I said this months before this happened. Like, hey, you're gonna need. Well, it was after the Bills game is when I said, enough's enough. He's got to go. We got to move on. He's got to move on. He don't want to be here anymore. It's just let's make a clean break here. Call it a firing. Call it a parting of ways. Whatever you need to do, that's fine. And you were there. And it wasn't even just a fit of rage on a Monday after they walked around, not after the Bills game, the Bears game. After they walked around after the Bears game, like it wasn't even that. And I just felt it was coming to an end. And I thought, I don't think the candidate pool, especially if they keep Andrew Berry, I don't think the candidate pool is going to be very great. And so, guys, I got to tell you, I can't get faked outraged here about any of these things. And they're not outraged yet. No, we'll see what happens this afternoon. But I'm thinking, I'm not surprised by any bit of any of this that has gone on.
Well, I think the one caveat on all this is if you thought Barry was going to be in charge or not. Because I think the candidate pool is very different if Andrew Barry is there versus if he's not there. If he's not there and they're chasing, another GM, and maybe with all this happening, maybe they would have gone to McDermott and said, hey, who do you want to work with? We'll give you power. We'll give you whatever. You bring your guy over, whoever it is.
Yeah, maybe if they want
maybe
to.
You have a guy in the league. He's worked elsewhere. He's been in other places. Like maybe you extend that olive branch. But if Andrew Berry is running the show, then I think around the league the sentiment has pretty much been, he's trying to find the next young Sean McVay. And so they're throwing darts, and these guys, the young Sean McVays, there's some of them in every organization in the NFL. They talk a great game in the interviews. They got no shortage of people that'll vouch for him. But in the end, you're going to be learning. The training wheels are going to be on. You're going to be making your first mistakes here with the Cleveland Browns.
Is he going to be? Is he looking for the next Sean McVay, or is he looking for a guy who's not going to take his power away? Is he looking for somebody who isn't going to get he knows you're a guy who's with the owner all the time. He ain't stupid. He knows how this league is. He spent time with other organizations. he knows that somebody new can come in and take power away. I mean, you were part of the Eagles organization. You know, Chip Kelly could go in there. I mean, even though I don't think he was there at that time, obviously, you hear the stories. You worked under Howie Roseman. You know, like, hey, the owner can be influenced by a new coach coming in, and it can be detrimental to what you're trying to build here. So are you trying to find the next Sean McVay, or are you trying to make sure that your vision, whatever that is, your vision stays your vision, and you can work with that guy? Because to me, that's John Dorsey land. That's exactly what he did with Freddie Kitchens. And now, I don't think that the next head coach is going to be anywhere as disorganized as what Freddie Kitchens was, but I don't think that that's the right way to look at it. I hope Andrew isn't looking at it that way, because that might be where I'm at, where I'm really surprised, where I go, boy, I didn't think it was going to be this bad, and it turned out to be even worse. Like, I didn't think it was going to be good, and it turned out even way worse than I thought it was going to be. Like, that's where I'm at right now. But by all this, like, oh my God, John Harbaugh doesn't want to give us the time of day, and Sean McDermott, we should be going after Sean McDermott. You guys heard Terry Pagula yesterday morning? You think he want to walk back into that situation? You think he wants to walk back into bizarre interview? I mean, did we or did we not just go over the press conference when Jimmy was talking about the good works of Andrew Berry, and he can only go over the last draft, and then he mentioned the kicker that he signed when you had given somebody else an extension.
Yeah, he had to botch the kicker 5 times over to get to that kicker.
And we went over that, and Terry Pagula took that press conference and ran with it to the furthest extreme you possibly could, and was way worse than I thought. But it's like, well, yeah, but it's still some type of craziness that goes on. Do you think Sean McDermott wants to walk back into that after we just saw the example laid out? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Like I said, if you notice the reporting that was done around Harbaugh after the fact, and I think Ian O'Connor had these extra spicy details, was that the negotiation in the end was whether Harbaugh got directly report to the Maras and ownership.
Yeah.
Not have to go between with Shane, the GM, or any of that. So in the end, if you want a Harbaugh, if you want a McDermott, if you want any of those guys that are established, have won a bunch of games, have won playoff games, the only way you were going to get them is if Andrew Berry was probably either muted his influence or out of the equation completely.
Because you see guys, and a guy like John Harbaugh is absolutely right about this, and I think a lot of guys are. Now, it takes some pills to be able to do it. You have to go out there and win first. But if you want to demand something like that, like, I think that guys like John Harbaugh, maybe even Sean McDermott at this point, because it seemed like he was never on the same page as Brandon Beane, is that you want a McVay-Snead partnership, or even a Shanahan-John Lynch type of thing, where it's like Kyle Shanahan is the czar of football there, and Kyle Shanahan is the last decider on all this.
They seem to work together pretty well.
Yes.
And they've had big mistakes, but they've been able to overcome them every step of the way.
And I don't know if they're willing to offer anybody that. And if they're not willing to offer those big names that, then, and I didn't think they were, like, yeah, this is where we're at. We're in Shieldhouse land, who is a nice enough young guy, and I'll tell you more about him coming up at 8 o'clock. And there's also Udinski land, which is also a nice enough young guy. That, like that, and you have some hope for them just because you're a Browns fan, and you're hoping that they can grow into that position, and that maybe they're the next young thing, but you're also going, oh boy, this might be a little bit rough here. Yeah, this is where we're at. So there's no surprise by any of this. I hate to be such a downer to start your morning, but I'm not mad. Are you mad?
No, if you notice, in past coaching searches, I've been all over the coaching search. Those past coaching searches, I wanted one guy in particular, and he turned out to be really bad. So I told you from day one, I'm keeping an open mind on all these guys. I am a little surprised how much Udinski seems to have become a fan favorite when nobody knows who he is or what he does or anything about him other than a couple clips they've seen. That seems a little weird.
I ask people why they want him again. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get to those people at the end of the show yesterday.
Let's get in there.
Yeah, am I ready?
Let's take a tour.
Am I allowed to curse? Let's go.
Audio courtesy of the Atlanta Falcons. That's Kevin Stefansky walking into the facility yesterday morning. He will have his introductory press conference next week.
I wish
drag this out here.
I wish he would have just taken me up on the offer.
What?
Kev just needs a little bit of PR help. He just needs a little bit, and I would do it for a nominal fee. A subscription service, of course.
You're not going to put Denzel Washington in a comedy movie, and you're not going to give him an outgoing personality that cuts up a storm.
Like, all they want in Atlanta, they want they want some energy. And Kevin is going, hey, I swear.
He sounded like Bucky.
Let's effing go.
In Fargo about the True Coat.
Hey, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Like, the easiest thing to do is now. The easiest thing to do is walk in while all the employees are taking pictures. Ken was a part of this before, previous hire. The easiest thing.
I wasn't clapping.
And he's walking around with Matt Ryan, and he knows he's on tape. And there's just a difference when you know you're on tape and when it's just candid. He knows he's on tape because guys they've got the big, heavy-duty cinematography. You chasing him around because we gotta churn out content. We got people.
Steady cam.
I mean, we only have you're right, Owen. We only have so much time because they care about the transfer portal and the SEC down here and what Georgia's doing, what Alabama's doing. Like, we gotta get after it. We gotta steal the attention. And so they're chasing him around. They got lighting, they got microphones, they got all this. And he's walking around. He sees it was the defensive coordinator he's keeping with the beard, and he goes, "Huh? What's up with the beard?"
He said that?
He said something about his beard.
I didn't even see that
Yeah.
one. I just saw the intro. I just saw him walking in and I went, oh, that's Kev.
This is not Kevin's forte. It just is not.
Let's go.
There you go. Mr. Lundegaard, you're a bold-faced liar.
Let's go.
Andrew Barry, give me my damn checkbook. Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
216-474-0092. You throw out the number, you move on. Kevin is telling you, though, even though he's not very good at communicating things in those ways, I think excuse me, Lima thinks he is telling you with these moves he's making exactly who is responsible for the mess that we're left to deal with. Go ahead, Tone, take it away.
Well,
I think I might agree with you.
Well, I could not believe when, Mary Kay was all over this story before anyone. She's like, he's taking Tommy Rees. And I'm like, no, he's not. I was like, with all due respect, Mary Kay.
Did you say that on the air?
No, probably not.
Oh, God.
But I'm thinking internally.
Mary Kay 820.
Internally, I'm like, you can't take the OC. First of all, bad look. Like, Atlanta, they're going to be like, what are you doing? You just had two of the remember, he's only been the OC this year and then called the plays, how many games into the year, halfway through or whatever. But he was there last year with multiple roles, in shaping the offense. And I get it that everybody kept saying, hey, he's an up-and-comer. He's going to be a candidate in Michigan. He's going to be a candidate here, there, everywhere. Going to be the commissioner of football one day. Like, we kept hearing all that. And I'm like, all right, but he has to accomplish something. Well, then, turns out, Mary Kay's right. He ends up taking him. We haven't heard about Bubba Ventrone yet, have we? But
no.
He ends up taking Tommy.
Please.
And I'm like, exactly, I know.
Go on Amtrak, whatever it takes to get down there.
He ends up taking Tommy, who helped lead some of the worst offenses in the NFL the last 2 years. And to me, there's one takeaway, and one takeaway only, which is fairly obvious. Kevin Stefansky did not think Tommy was a problem at all. He just didn't think they had the weapons. They didn't think they had the quarterbacks, the offensive line, the wide receivers, because think about how monumental that is, how serious this is, that this could be Kevin's only chance to coach an NFL team ever again.
Yeah.
And he is posting up with Tommy Rees.
Well, do you think Tommy Rees is bad at his job?
It's honestly, in the end, impossible to tell.
You're giving it off like you think Tommy Rees is going to be a disaster.
I thought he was unqualified to continue to get named in all these jobs.
I can't imagine what you're thinking of Grant Udinski.
Same. I mean,
I was about to say.
But honestly, in the NFL, we've seen Grant Udinski's come and do well. We've also seen him flounder. Like, obviously, there is a reason why there had been an old traditional ascension for candidates. They would work their way up. They would be quality control. They would then coach defensive backs, then eventually defensive coordinator, and provided the team won games. It had to be a perfect storm of you demonstrating your value to an organization or to maybe others, and then the team winning to validate what you were doing. And when the two things would mesh, then you became the hot candidate.
I think you're right.
And then you get the head coaching job.
I think you're as right as you could possibly be about all this. He is never, like, when they do the press conference next week, he'll be asked about the Baker Mayfield tweet. You guys know Kevin well. He ain't gonna say a thing. He will say he's focused on the Falcons. He's not going to focus on the past. He's looking forward to his future with Atlanta. You know how he's going to be. He ain't going to give you nothing. But he's telling you with all these moves, and you are as right as you could possibly be. He is telling you with these moves, he is telling you that Andrew Berry is in charge of this mess. And whether or not that, we don't even know if that's right or not, by the way. That's not drawing a conclusion, because Michael Penix could be down there, and who knows what Kirk Cousins is going to do, and they could go down there, and they could look as just as inept as we've been talking about here over the last couple of years. Now, they got Bijan Robinson. I don't know what they have with all the other ones. I mean, they got weapons. You got Drake. You got the tight end. Like, you got guys that you could possibly work with, but if that thing goes out there and fails, we could look at it and go, boy, this was a true partnership. These were true thought partners in disaster with this football team. That actually can be put out there. So I'm not drawing a conclusion in January that it was all Andrew's fault because we're not doing well with the coaching search and we're not feeling well about the coaching search. So that isn't fair.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be as fair as possible, and I think you are too.
There was plenty of blame to go around.
But Kevin, with his actions, is drawing a line in the sand of he was responsible for it, meaning that Andrew was responsible for this. That Kevin did not want to make a trade for Deshaun Watson. I do not believe he did. There's been plenty of people who have backed me up on that. He did not want to trade for Deshaun Watson. I understand that he and Baker weren't necessarily on the best of terms at the end of it, but I don't think he wanted to make such a drastic move like that. I didn't think he thought very highly of him and of his skills coming in, but he decided to go ahead and go with it because they're thought partners. But he's telling you, when he brings in Tommy Rees, and is Tommy going to call plays?
Yeah,
we know if Tommy's going to call plays?
We do not know as of now.
I think you're figuring that out in January.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. I'm sorry, it's Kevin. I forgot there for a second. Yeah, he's telling you, man. Like, this is... I've never had such a reason... This includes Baker. I've never had such a reason to watch NFC South football like I've had coming up in 2026.
Boy,
Like, every week we're going to be watching this offense going, 12 personnel, look at this, that's a Kevin play.
Yes.
And if it works with Michael Penix and if they start to take flight,
or Cousins,
which I think is one of their tagline. No, that's the Jets tagline. If that offense starts to go with Penix or Kirk Cousins or God knows who.
Well, think about right now on paper how much Kevin's life got elevated with this move to Atlanta. Because I had heard it, this isn't just stuff that we're saying now. I had heard, we don't watch a lot of Falcons games. Maybe you watch more than I.
I've watched a little bit more than I have in years past.
People kept saying that they were not getting nearly enough out of that offense with those guys. Think about his pass catchers. His top three pass catchers are Bijan Robinson, who is dynamic out of the backfield. Well, you're not going to like what our former boss told me. He goes, he's way better than Nick Chubb because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Then
Nick didn't even get the chance.
I know, for whatever reason. And then Kyle Pitts and Drake London, who was 8th overall pick from USC, who last year had 1,300 yards. This year played 12 games, almost had 1,000 yards. I mean, Jerry Jeudy would have taken him
And he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground about football, and I could say that now. He ain't my boss no more.
It would have taken...
I love you, but it's true.
It would have taken Jerry Jeudy 2 seasons to get 1,000 yards. And so they've got 3 pass catchers that instantly jump. And we love Harold Fannin, don't get me wrong. It'll be interesting to see how Harold Fannin continues to get better. But they've got 3 guys right there. They got 2 guys that can run the football, and their offensive line's way better than ours is.
So they should be...
And they have Bill Callahan.
So they should be able to score more than 21 points a game that they scored last year?
Yes.
Okay, so if
and hold them to
Kevin
that standard.
So we have to prove this. Again, I can't draw conclusions right now in January. I don't know who the head coach is going to be, and I'm sure that Andrew Berry has his side of this as well. But I love this because this is the first time we are seeing a delineation of, okay, now we can really start to draw some things about what each other thinks of the work that they've done, what they thought of some of the plans that they've gone through.
Well, some of it, too, you could do it last year when Flacco got traded to Cincinnati, and instantly it's like, oh, yeah, Flacco still has some talent.
You got Callahan there, who's coming back to work with Kevin. Remember, he left to go work with his son, which is fair enough, but we didn't think he was ever coming back, and we had heard things that he didn't like what was going on. And then you have Tommy Rees coming with him. So these are guys putting the band back together that believe in Kevin, that like to work with Kevin. Now, Kevin is loyal to his assistants. We know that he didn't want to move on from Alex Van Pelt. He is loyal to these guys. And if it works down there and we're still stuck in the mud, we'll have more conclusions. Of course, I don't know how much further the string can roll out on the guy that's still employed right now. That's my issue with all of this. That's part of the reason why I don't think that big names are considering this. And that's part of the reason why I think you want a guy like Grant Udinski.